a-hole for refusing to speak to my mom after 35 years of no contact now that she's old? Okay, so I, 56 female, have been total no contact with my mother for 35 years because she married 8 times, had 6 kids, all different fathers, and parentified me since I was 10. She allowed violations to happen to all 3 of us girls and actually told me to shut up, he didn't hurt you, when she walked in and saw it happening to me. She lied about who my father was, and I didn't find out until I was 50 and did one of those DNA tests. I am the only child that went to college and made a life for myself. The others are druggies. So, I got a Facebook message from her oldest one, the one that did the crime she saw, saying I need to pitch in to take care of her, since she's not doing well. So, my anxiety is off the charts. I need to say that they all live in the Southwest, and I live on the East Coast. I replied that if he contacted me again, I would call the police. Now, the sisters are trying to get me to take her in as you have a big place and money. I haven't spoken to my siblings in over a decade. I told them that they had no idea what is going on in my life, so kick rocks. So am I the a-hole for continuing my no contact with them all? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Just read the title and I'm already at nope. And now that I read half of it, hell to the no. Block everyone. Move, change your name, dye your hair, consider plastic surgery, and never ever do a publicly available DNA test. So you already did a DNA test. Your best bet is a pack of angry Jack Russell Terriers guarding the perimeter of your home. OMG, you made me laugh so hard. Thank you. I have vicious Yorkies and lots of pew-pews. Not a-hole. That sounds awful. I'm so sorry. You don't owe them anything. It sounds like you know that intellectually, but it's getting to you emotionally, which makes total sense. I would suggest not only blocking them, but maybe talking to a counselor and getting some extra support. Hearing from them sounds like it's bringing up old trauma. Having some extra support can help you stay strong and stay in no contact when they try to guilt you, as you know they will, and hopefully will also give you longer-term peace. I wish you the best. Thank you. I have been in therapy for a number of years. I moved across the country 7 years ago because I couldn't get the siblings to respect boundaries. Best thing I ever did. I haven't let myself make friends here yet, but maybe soon. Thanks again. I'm so sorry your family sucks. Good for you for putting physical distance between you all. Please, please, do not feel guilty. Your feelings are pangs of hurt over what you never had. Feel them, remember the loss of your childhood and bio family, and move on without guilt. We Reddit strangers totally support you. Your mental health is so important. Not the a-hole. Why were they not all blocked? Hadn't heard from any of them in 10 years because I had blocked them. But some idiot showed them how to make new accounts, because none of them are smart enough to do it on their own. Lol. Not the a-hole. My partner comes from an insanely abusive and toxic family, his mother being the root of all evil. He once told his therapist that he feels bad for not talking to her because she's getting old. His therapist asked him if he thought her aging erased all that she had done. Obviously it had not. He said just because someone is old doesn't mean they automatically become a better person or regret all the damage they had done. It just means they're old. Just keep blocking. You don't owe any of them anything. Now for the mini update. Okay folks, hope this is the way to update. I decided to do what like 100% of what y'all said. I sent a group email to the lot of them, telling them that I would not be engaging in their theatrics. They could figure out what to do with Mommy Dearest, and I will not be a part of their solution. I said I will be blocking all of them, and if they contacted me in any way, shape, or form, law enforcement would be contacted. Then just for good measure, I told them all to buzz all the way off, and have the day you deserve. Thanks everyone for reaffirming what I knew was right. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cater for my sister's wedding after she ghosted me for 5 years? I'm male 33, I'm a professional chef, and own a successful upscale restaurant in my city. My younger sister, female 29, and I used to be best of friends, until 5 years back when we had a falling out over a minor issue. She lent a prized book of mine to her friend without asking me, and it came back in a state of disrepair. The disagreement spiraled into a fight and she cut me off completely, refusing to communicate with me despite my numerous attempts to apologize and fix things. 3 weeks back, out of nowhere, I received a call from her. My joy was short-lived when she quickly got to her point. She was getting married and wanted me to cater her wedding, for free. Moreover, her request was not merely to provide a main course, but also specialized gourmet meal options for a cosmopolitan guest list. A task that involves a lot of work and money. I've felt a pang of hurt. It felt incredibly selfish and hurtful that after 5 years of silence, she contacted me for a favor, an expensive one at that. Hence, I declined, telling her that while I was happy about her upcoming nuptials, it was unfair of her to expect me to invest so much of my time, resources, and expertise for free, especially after the way she treated me. Now my parents are upset with me, saying that it's been long and I should have forgiven her. They think I'm being vengeful and using this opportunity to get back at her. But honestly, I'm just deeply hurt. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. She didn't call to make amends. She hasn't apologized. She called for expensive freebies. If she wanted to make amends, she would have apologized and offered to pay for what she was requesting. Remind your parents that this isn't you getting back at her, but refusing to pay X out of pocket for someone who is now a stranger. Mom and Dad are on your case because they don't want to get stuck with a catering bill. Hold firm. Nowhere in there does OP say that he's even actually invited to the wedding. Sis definitely sounds like the kind of a-hole who would tell him that he's there as a caterer, not a guest. If you're catering it, you basically can't attend. Maybe toward the end of the reception, but the rest of the staff is only doing cleanup. But the amount of prep beforehand probably rules out both the wedding and most of the reception. Thanks, I really appreciate this answer. Thinking about the next steps, might try talking to my parents and sister. If you happen to make it to that wedding, apologize to her partner for me, because your sister sounds like an entitled nightmare. She didn't even try to sugarcoat the request, and on top of that is actively trying to take advantage of you and your success. This request goes beyond forgive and forget. I could understand if the agreement was to pay for the cost of ingredients and utilities, and maybe excluding your time. But to suggest what is probably hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, is simply outrageous. Imagine if you did this for free. I'd bet just about anything to say, she immediately goes back to radio silence. You are not the a-hole. Stay strong and hold on, OP. Don't give in and stick to your guns. Good luck. She didn't even try to sugarcoat the request. Yes, because in her head, she is kind of doing the first move and giving him the opportunity to apologize by doing this. That's how entitled people work. Not the a-hole. Not sure how her destroying your prized book makes you the bad guy, but the fact she thought she would guilt you into doing this for free is hilarious. Tell your parents you will do it if they pay you for it. Full price now, no discount. If they agree, then go ahead and do it. Otherwise, do not feel bad at all. Also would not go to the wedding. And the payment before the wedding. If you let it after, I bet they will not pay you. I wouldn't even allow her in the restaurant or her party. She'll probably destroy something else. I'm sorry that she's using you, but I wouldn't help her. And tell your parents to mind their business. They're not the ones having to shell out the cost, and the only reason they're pushing for it so they can get it for free. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying I am not an aunt? I, 30 female, have no contact with my older brother, 34 male, or his wife, 28 female, and have not done for over a year. For around 3 years prior to that, our relationship was only upsetting. No matter what I did or said, his wife would claim I was behaving rudely or maliciously, and would scream and cry until I apologized. My brother, her parents, and her brother contacted me over the years to explain this was how she related to girls. Screaming and crying and reconciling afterwards was her way to be close to girls, and I was urged many times to play along and accept this about her, because over time we would become close from it. But it got to the point where it was unbearable. Every message and interaction with her is exhausting, and she delighted in putting me down in front of other people. My brother absolutely enabled this and made everything worse. In fact, the final straw was him secretly recording a conversation we had where he asked me some deeply personal questions. At the time, I thought he was trying to be vulnerable together to mend our relationship, and I caught him playing the recording to her as they both laughed at me. I got a job opportunity far away and jumped at it, making going no contact suddenly much easier, and have not spoken to either of them since. They have also not tried to contact me since I moved. They recently had a child, something I only know about because my mom told me, and she has begun pestering me to visit them and send gifts/messages. I have tried to say no thank you, and even explained if they reached out, I would respond, but I am not interested in initiating contact. But every conversation I have with her now begins and ends with, "You are an aunt now. You need to act like it," or some variation. So today I said, I am not an aunt. I am not in this baby's life in any way, and she was really upset with me. She asked me if I was rejecting her grandchild, which of course I am not. She is welcome to have a relationship with whoever she wants and be as involved as she wants. But I am not in this baby's life, as an aunt or otherwise, and I don't see that changing in the future, honestly. The conversation only soured from there, with her insisting that if I refuse to accept I am an aunt, then I am claiming she is not a grandmother. She's now not speaking to me and insists I'm being unnecessarily hurtful and creating sadness in a time that should be happy. I really don't think of myself as an aunt at all, but I'm now wondering if it was cruel to voice that thought. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. You are not the a-hole, but you might need to consider going no contact with your mother as well. It seems like it's not only your brother enabling your sister-in-law's weird behavior, but also your own mother. What has your father to say about all this? Do you have any other siblings? I have 2 other younger brothers who both think she is nutty, but she adores them, so they have a civil relationship. She constantly makes posts about how she loves them and calls them little/big brother, never their names. The only time she got upset with them directly, as far as I know, was when they refused to call her big sister in return. But about a week later, she acted like nothing had happened and never brought it up again. Her own brother told me she just knows how to be close to boys better than girls, and that is why she gets on well with them. I have never asked them to get involved, but my youngest brother has had arguments with our oldest one over her behavior a few times. It just never goes anywhere. But he does not speak to her directly anymore, just through my brother, and only sees her at family functions because of how she treats me. He has, however, gone to visit the baby, and it was the first time he went to their house. My parents are divorced, but my dad is on my side. He was the one who told me to cut them both out of my life. He actually took them out for a meal and discussion over it, right before I left, to get a feel of the situation and see how we could fix everything. But he told me afterwards there was nothing to be done, because they seemed to enjoy the whole situation. He said to him, it seems they like having an outside person to blame things on, and I was just unlucky to be chosen for that role. Oh wow, this is just so messed up. Sorry to say it, but this is truly good riddance. But looking at this, it might be that your older brother and sister-in-law are pressuring your mother into making you come to see the baby by restricting her access to the baby. I can't see a different explanation for her being so desperately connecting you not wanting to be an aunt to her being a grandmother. It's good that you are not completely alone and still have your father and younger brothers as support in this matter. I hope your bond with them will stay strong and wish you the best for the future. Stay strong. I actually did not consider that she was being pressured by them in some way. I always assumed they never spoke about me at all, so thank you for that perspective. If it is true and they are holding her time with the baby at ransom until I comply, then I can understand why my comments upset her so much. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not entering a queue for the second time when my girlfriend gave her food away to a homeless man? I, 24 male, was out with my girlfriend, 25 female tonight, and we were in the city center. It was crowded, and the queues for everything were extremely long. There was a food truck that sold tacos that she really wanted to try. The queue was very long, and she gets tired quickly, so she sat on a bench while I waited for in line to get her tacos. After about 30 minutes of standing in line, I got her tacos and we started walking to a nearby restaurant to get myself some dinner too, before we head home. On the way, there was a homeless man sitting down in the street, and before I know it, she diverted towards him to hand him her food. I thought that was quite sweet actually, and we continued walking, until she asked if we could go back and get more tacos, because she actually really wanted them, and didn't want food from where I was getting mine. I said the line is even longer now than when we left it, and I can't just stand in line for over 30 minutes again. I said she can pick a restaurant and we'll go get food there, but she insisted that she had those tacos in her mind all week, and she really wants them. I said the line was even longer by the time we left, and it wouldn't make sense for us to go back, and for me to stand there all over again for those tacos. She said she'll compromise, and stand there till she gets tired, then we can switch, which would have been maybe 10 minutes. I said I'm already tired and fed up because of the extremely long day I had, and I would really appreciate if she doesn't push this and we can get them next weekend. She said, I didn't ask you to go to war, you know. All you have to do is stand there. So I said, if it's nothing, you won't need me for it, and you can stand in line yourself. She didn't say a word to me the whole way home. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You stood in line once. While her thought in reaching out and offering her food was kind, that doesn't give her an expectation of you standing in the line again. She should maybe look at it as her own sacrifice for helping someone who was hungry. This right here, she didn't really think that through. It's highly inappropriate that she asked him to get her more tacos after she gave hers away. Yeah, this kind of feels like someone donating money to a charity, but using their daddy's credit card to pay. Sometimes I wonder if people type out a whole story of something they think is about themselves. I don't see all the underlying red flags about their significant other's character they revealed. Not the a-hole. She could have stood in the line herself or picked something else. Yeah, she can stand in the line again while Opie gets his food, and they'll maybe be done at relatively the same time. I suggested this actually, but she said she physically cannot stand for that entire time on her own, and she'll need to sit after a while, so I need to be there. Not the a-hole. You don't get to inconvenience other people for your good deed. Thank you. I've been in this situation before, and it sucks. I even started to question my acquaintance with that person because they got me in this situation far more often than I'd prefer. And the worst thing is, I started to believe I was a bad person for not helping someone help someone else.